And I'm telling you, play all the way, no matter what is it. Good evening, Liberia. And it's good to be here this evening on the program Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia, 104.1. We want to say thank you to Allah for making us to see this day. We want to say thank you to Allah for giving us the opportunity to return and do the people's job. Sitting here every evening to talk about the issues of Liberia is what matters. We want to wish speedy recovery to the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Samuel 12, and his wife. We're also begging the people, the securities and the drivers are human beings too. If I just gave you the number of people that they carry along with Minister 12, and you want to ask why didn't they go with the security and the drivers? But I wishing them speedy recovery, and we are with them in prayers. No matter our disagreements, we should not pray for evils for people. And too many things to do today on the program Issues of Today. The usual thing, we're going to go to our international updates, international correspondence. We're going to join in on the program so they can fill us in with issue making news, other parts of the world. We're joined in shortly on the program. Following that issue, we're going to be having our 30 minutes guest. And we're going to be providing some strong analysis on the press conference held by Ambassador Louis Browns today at the headquarters of Liberty Party, extension ANC. So it is clear that they're going to be having a match. But someone said, why didn't they say it ever since? The Secretary General of the Congress of Democratic Change should come up before they come and say it. Hey, politics. We're moving towards elections in the country. You will see these things will continue to happen in Liberia. And so this is it. My name is Sekou Sharif. And we will shortly go to our international correspondence so that we can to bring you international updates. When we are done with that, then we give you the lineup of what we're going to be doing today. I can see all of our correspondents now. They are all prepared. Let me go to Tanzania now to talk to all of our correspondents are in gear today. So I'm going to go to Tanzania. The very first Lumbwando. We're going to go to him this evening on the program. We're going to join him on the program from Tanzania to tell us about the President Samia Suluhu Hassan. There's this report coming from Tanzania that the president has officially launched a 5-year national strategy to get rid of AIDS in the country. And so Lumbando, who is our correspondent in Tanzania, will join us on the line now on the television as well to tell us more about this development on the program Issues of Today right here. Lumbando, thank you for joining us. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you so much, Sekou Sharif.
And it's good to have you, having you from Tanzania. You want to tell us about the official launch of a 5-year national strategy to get rid of AIDS in the country. done by the president. Can you tell us how Tanzania celebrates World AIDS Day?
Of course, it's just a beautiful day today. Tanzania, they're just celebrating the World AIDS Day. And the important issue is just President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has instructed the Tanzania AIDS Control Commission together with the Ministry of Health to intensify the fight against HIV pandemic. But mostly this has issued the order in the Lindi region during the peak of the national celebration World AIDS Day with the slogan "Strengthen Equality." This is just one of the big slogan today in Tanzania. But during the summit, President Samia has officially launched the five-year national strategies for fight against AIDS, and one of them is just to make sure that uh, those those to make sure that in each institutions which deal with the helping uh, people with HIV should get a fund to make sure that they're gonna help specifically those who have this AIDS, HIV AIDS. But also this is just implemented in the period of 2022 to 2026.
What are the government efforts to overcome HIV infections in Tanzania?
Okay, the government efforts reported by the Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Godwin Mollel, has said that Tanzania expected to achieve the international goal of reaching almost 95% dash 95% dash 95%. You can ask yourself that's why 95 dash percent and then 95 dash percent and then 95 dash percent. And this is because when we come to his explanation, say that the first 95% is to identify the victim of AIDS virus. The second one is to give them medicine. Why they said 95% is to make sure that after giving them medicine, the severity of the disease is reduced. So this is one of the strategy they make.
What does the information tell about the state of infection and who is most at risk of getting AIDS in Tanzania?
Okay, according to Tanzania AIDS Control Commission, they say that most of the which are they most at risk at that time is a women, especially at the age of zero. I mean, 15 to 24 age. These are dangerous because they at mature time and they cannot control themselves. But also for this time, when we come to a man, they are also mentioned that they are at risk, and this is because they are not appear to check their health to
Okay.
the yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Luambando, for joining us from Tanzania on the program. We say thank you very much. We go to Lesotho to talk to Pokolo Muruli, and he's going to join us on online from Lesotho this evening to give us an update here on the program. But let's flip in with Sierra Leone now, getting Sierra Leone before we go to Lesotho on the program. We're going to talk to the man John Whitfield as to fill us in with uh, 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 as to call get him on the show. John, good evening. Thank you for joining us from Sierra Leone. John, you good evening. I'm trying to. Producers are trying to reconnect uh, with John so that we can have him. But let's go to Lesotho now to talk to our Lesotho correspondent, and then we'll come back to John Whitfield from Sierra Leone on the program. We go to Lesotho, where the Disaster Management Authority, through the Lesotho Vulnerability Assessment Committee, says Lesotho needs 350 million to overcome rampant insecurity in the country. Joining us now is Pokolo Muri. He joins us now from Lesotho on the program. Pokolo, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you very much, Seku. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Now, what is the number of people estimated to suffer from this entire issue that has to do with rampant food insecurity in the country?
Okay. According to the report, an estimated 3,800 people are estimated to be under in food security and could face hunger in the next new year or 6 months from now.
What are some of the recommendations made to overcome this challenge within Lesotho?
Okay. One of the challenges is that the country needs to fight in food insecurity by injecting a lot of budget into the Food and Nutrition Ministry, and households that are seen to be poor or living under the living conditions. They need to be assisted with food and also a supply of grain and beans. And also the prices of beans and grain are at the moment are very high. So the report recommends that the prices should be lowered in order to accommodate everyone.
Now, can the government of Lesotho really come up with the needed 350 million to fight food insecurity in the country?
It is not really going to be easy, Seku. It is not going to be easy because government is already in a lot of debt. So it is not going to be easy. The government is facing a lot of financial challenges. So perhaps if we could borrow money, say from IMF or from our sister countries, or seek aid from other development partners, maybe that is only then that the government can source that kind of money. But at the moment, I really don't see we don't really see that happening. So it is going to be a tough challenge.
Now, what are the citizens of Lesotho saying concerning the food insecurity currently in the country?
Everyone is a bit worried regarding the report. What I can tell you is that it has sent shockwaves across the country, and a lot of people, they're trying by all means to ensure that they have enough food supply. But you can see it is not easy because a lot of people don't have seeds to plow in their fields.
Thank you very much, Poloko from Lesotho on the program tonight, telling us about what's happening there concerning food insecurity. We'd like to say thank you very much, and we hope we can join you tomorrow on some other, latest developments coming in from Lesotho on the program. We want to say thank you very much, and then we'll move on now to see as whether we can talk to more of our correspondents on the show today. Moving on, we're going to go to Sierra Leone. We'll go to Gambia. We'll also make a stop to Nigeria to talk to Naomi Kombenda and the other folks as well. That is it. Lots of things happening around the world. Some other countries are faced with some other issues. African countries, it is not just as easy as the way we see it and as easy as the way things are. And so you have lots of things ongoing. Lots of people, lots of countries, governments are faced with many other challenges, and it's just something that is not as unique to just a government, but governments are to take responsibility of how they handle the issues. So that is it. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the program Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia 104.1. this evening. This is where we converge to talk about the issues in Liberia, and this is where we give you the opportunity so that your voices can be heard on critical national issue. Um, so you don't want to miss it, and and as we try to connect with our other correspondents, let me just say this. Shortly, my colleague will join me. Fendela Patrick will join me, but we're going to be, paying keen attention to something very important. Um, this issue that has to do with the press conference today held by the one of the senior members of Tim Cummins, Louis Brown. We will dig deep into that. But before then, we join for 30 minutes of our time. We will join Abdullah Mame. Abdullah Mame is an international development practitioner. He will join us on the program from the United States. He's been talking about the president's trip. He's been giving some thoughts about the president's trip and that of the Paris Forum. And he has a contrary view to the Paris Forum issue. He thinks that the letter being sent by the president to the legislature, particularly the House of Senate, it was not as correct as he claims. And so he will, join us to talk about some critical national issues for 30 minutes of our time on the program. And following that issue, we will look into the response. I call it the response from Louis Brown. But there are a few things why, listening to what he said today, we will provide our analysis. Sometimes I always say this: when you say something in the interest of a certain political party, they think that you are the best. And when you are saying something contrary to what they think about, they see you to be not. They will say you're not balanced, man. You're not correct. How you'll be saying things like that? That you'll be doing things like that. So that's how it is. So today, when we start to provide our analysis, when we start to say what we think we need to say honestly, because everything we do is not just about ourselves, it's about the country and the people. So when we start to say now, some people will say, oh yeah, some people will agree, some people will disagree, and some people will see it differently. But the good thing about the show is, yes, you are at liberty to disagree, to agree, and also to either accept the things we say or not to accept. That's the reason why we open the lines to give you the opportunity to weigh in on what we discuss here on the show. So, but today he had a press conference. Louis Brown had a press conference, and that press conference was attended by journalists. Uh, mm, um, so that is it. We will look into that issue, and we'll also provide you. But I'm seeing here. I think the president is making some engagements, some moves in Morocco. The president is currently in Morocco. Sometimes people can say Morocco, but that's the pronunciation. But the rightful word is Morocco, right? The president is in Morocco, and he's having some other engagements. So those of you listening to us on the radio, we want to say thank you, and we have lots of things for you today. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss it. I'm seeing that there are lots of things happening in Liberia, folks. Lots of things happening in Liberia, so you don't want to miss them. I want to get some things for you folks. Okay, so uh, I want to do something before we can move ahead. The last time we brought up something we were talking about concerning um, government employees, people working in various government ministries and agencies being underpaid, and people being paid below the expectation. People are being, some people are making something around um, 45 in government, 60 in government, 75 in government. So it is something very, very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking to see it. Someone said we want to hear the main issues. Yeah, don't worry, you will soon hear the main issues. As soon as I'm joined by my colleague, uh, and you will get the main issue. So let's manage to conclude with the international correspondence now. Let's go to John Whitfield to talk to him from Sierra Leone. Let's go to John Whitfield from Sierra Leone. John, good evening.
Good evening, and thanks for having me in the show, Seko.
The Speaker of the Sierra Leone Parliament has made a ruling relating to the threat that broke out in the Parliament last week. And John, you've been following issues from the Parliament and in the country. Tell us about the verdict given by the Speaker.
Well, so based on what happened last week, they arrived at a decision that three members of parliament were the prime perpetrators. They were at the center of this ugly situation, and these three MPs are members of the main opposition, All People's Congress. They are Lahai Mara, Aaron Kamara, and Abdul Karim Kamara. So what they have done to them is that they have been suspended from parliamentary proceedings, during which they won't get their salaries and other remuneration. Also, all three of them will have to pay the sum of over $30,000, that in relation to damages to properties in parliament. And also, this should be done in 2 weeks, or the monies will be deducted from their salaries. And also, no strangers will be allowed in the gallery anymore without any invitation from the Speaker of the House. No mobile phones, no food, no object will be allowed in the gallery.
How did they arrive at such conclusion, looking at the way the things happened at the time?
It was a hasty one indeed, we must say. And from what we gathered, these were investigations done from footages, because there are footages to the effect and also internally within the system. So they have independent bodies, as they claimed, that did these investigations. And at the end of the day, they came out with this particular ruling.
Were they given an opportunity to appeal, looking at the decision being taken?
From what we saw, there is nowhere they stated that they have the opportunity to appeal. And even the natural rule of justice was not given to hear from them what they have to say, whether indeed the allegations meted against them were true or not. Nothing of such nature was done. The only thing that was done, the police were invited in the beginning, but the Speaker of the House has written to the Inspector General of Police that they should leave the matter. They should not be punished twice. The court, the settings within the parliament are going to handle the situations. Even though we have diverse opinions, some lawyers from the opposition are saying that the speaker do not have the jurisdiction. It does not have the local standing to ensure that it sits on such a ruling, except the Committee of Privileges.
What the parliament members, those of the people that have been affected of the decisions, what are they saying? Is there something going to be a redress in court, or are they accepting to the ruling of verdict being announced by the speaker?
From the look of things, they will have to go by the ruling given by the Speaker. The backlash has not been coming from members of parliament, but also lawyers from the main opposition party and party supporters. One of the lawyers, who is Joseph Ijal Kama, said that the Speaker does not have the local standing. He does not have the jurisdiction to sit on such, because there's a committee in parliament called the Committee of Privileges. They were supposed to look at the issue to tell whether it was contempt of parliament or not. So these are backlashes coming from outside and not from within the well of parliament.
Thank you very much, John Whitfield, on the program tonight. Issues of today, right here on Voice of Liberia. We'll go to Nigeria with Naomi Kombenda. Well, we're going to talk to Naomi Kombenda on the program as he joins us from Nigeria. Naomi, let me say good evening to you and thank you for joining us tonight on the program. Good evening, Naomi. Thank you for joining us. You need to unmute your mic. Naomi, good evening. Unmuted. Okay, we experiencing, yes, unmuted though. Naomi, good evening. What's happening with Naomi? Hope that she can do this adjustment from our end as we get her live. Sorry, folks. It is something we introducing and something we need to accept. You know, we want you people that are watching the television. We see all of our correspondents who are calling from around the world live on the television, and also you're listening to them on the radio. Naomi, we are yet to get you. Okay, much better, Naomi. Good evening.
Good evening, Sekou. Good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you very much for joining us, Naomi. Let's move on to
Can
this
you hear
development.
me?
I'm hearing you very clear, Naomi. Okay, let's move on to this development.
Okay.
Where the country Nigeria First Lady is billed to testify against a student of the Federal University in the North Central region of Nigeria. This is sounding very interesting, and it's something that should claim the attention of Nigerians. Can you bring us to speed with this controversial case in the country as we speak?
Yeah, Sekou, thank you very much. You see, the 24-year-old who hails from Bauchi State was allegedly arrested on the orders of the First Lady a few days ago, sparking outrage by Nigerians, with many calling for his release. He had tweeted back in June, that's a long time June in Hausa language, that the First Lady was feeding fat with money. And so the 500 level student was picked up from the school 2 weeks ago and taken to straight to the presidential villa, where he was allegedly brutalized, beaten up, and maltreated and humiliated by policemen, hoping that they are Department of State. So recent information reaching us shows that Aisha is among the 5 people who are assembled by the prosecution to testify against Mohammed in court, with the police alleging that the offense bordering on defamation of character and cyber stalking contravenes Section 391 of the Penal Code. And the defendant, who pleaded not guilty, was taken to prison anyway. So we're waiting for the outcome of the case before we can know what to say. Back to you in the studio.
What are the reactions from Nigerians as we speak in the country? What are they saying concerning this issue involving the First Lady of Nigeria, the president of the country wife?
Okay, so the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students has declared a nationwide protest to demand the release of the boy. And the president of the association said that they had earlier pleaded to the president and apologized on behalf of the boy. But since the president's wife is adamant, they will commence the strike on Monday and it will be indefinite. And they will not go back to school until the boy gets his freedom. It was reported that they earlier apologized to the woman, called her, apologized to her, begged her on behalf of, but she said no. And so NANS is working hard towards being confrontational. They want to confront the government by what the First Lady has done. And meanwhile, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has also threatened to take legal action against the President Muhammadu Buhari administration if the boy is not released from prison, calling the boy a prisoner of conscience.
What has been some of the international concern attached to this issue? Because it has to do with the government, because it is the first lady of the country. Is this something a usual thing that happens in the country where you see, or it is accepted under the laws of Nigeria, where the first lady can sue people and she can go and testify in court?
Well, Seku, I really don't know what you want me to say about this, but it's just an African thing. People from diaspora, Nigerians in diaspora, are saying this abuse, total abuse of power, and that the boy has the right to criticism, to criticize objectively that it was not an abuse, it was an observation that he said the woman has grown fat, feeding from poor people's money. So many people are saying she doesn't have the right to arrest the boy, torture him, and still take him to prison. That if they have punished him, they should let him go free. So there are comments, there are reactions from home and abroad. Nigerians abroad are also threatening to go on protest on Tuesday if this little boy is not released.
What is the tension currently in the country as it relates to this issue now? Looking at how citizens of the country are responding to it, it seems to be the government and the people, the government against the people. What are the reactions coming from Nigeria?
Well, reactions, like I told you earlier, Nigerians have taken to the social media handles calling for the release of the boy. Civil society organizations are also calling for the release of the boy. And now, top politicians, opposition political parties are also calling for the release of the boy. And other people around, well meaning Nigerians, are saying this abuse of power, that she doesn't have the power to do that. But you know, the way some of our African countries are, some people are really above the law. And so, like I said, so many people are calling for the release. Important
Now,
Nigerians are
now,
calling for the release of the boy.
Naomi, what is the President Buhari has been able to say concerning this action of his wife? Has he been able to speak to the country about it?
Oh no, Sekou, the president has been mute all along. And even as there are new developments coming up, the students are wanting to go on strike on Monday. Today is already Friday, Thursday. Um, CSOs are also trying to go on strike. On protest for the same issue, but the president has said nothing about it so far.
Thank you very much, Naomi Kombenda from Nigeria on the program Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia. This evening, coming to you live from Capital Bypass in Monrovia. Things can happen in Africa, though. Sometimes when you listen to some of the things get happy, you know, it just wow. Ah, the first lady. I want you to imagine if the first lady of Liberia will go and do such. Hey, the whole country here won't go upside down. Wow. Ah, what? The first lady of Nigeria has been able to sue someone, and she are going to testify. Ah, that's a, what? I don't know. Wow. Hmm. I hope that could be, that could be done. Yeah. Then you will see people will say, "Oh, the government this, the government that, the government." But African governments as just they are all just the same. You don't have, they're almost all the same, man. They do things the same way, and they run about things the same way. How come you can't go to some hey God. Anyway, that's exactly uh 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 so it's not a strange thing. It's still getting to me. Oh. So the first lady of Nigeria went to the extent and sued this boy. African leaders, eh? African leaders, eh? Hey, if you're not careful with your wife, um, there you go. Okay, so we are done with that issue. We are done with that issue. Let us move on. Let us move on to some important issues now on the program. We are done with our international correspondence, but it's something that I think we need to talk about small. The thing there where, wow, the first lady of Nigeria, uh, she are going to the place to go, and then what? She's going there to testify. Going to testify based on. So how would that be now? When she testifying now, how will it be? Anyway, it is Africa and Africans, and that is Africa for us. When you see these things, and that is how you see it. But like I said, any minute from now, we will have with us Mr. Abdullah Mame, international development practitioners will be here. Let me join my co-pilot Fendela Patrick. Let me join him now on the show so we can start the ball rolling. Yeah, man. We need to move. We need to talk more issues concerning our country. We need to talk more issues concerning lots of issues in the country. Fendela, good evening from Liberia.
It's a pleasant good afternoon or good evening. Let me just say to those in the radio link, especially our guys in the US, Canada, and other parts of the world, want to welcome them. And to the great people of Liberia. I don't know if you want to say Moravians. But it's good to be here. It's good to be here again.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's good to be here, like you said. Did you follow our Nigerian correspondent? It is something that really caught my attention. Did you follow the Nigerian correspondent where she reported that a student, I think, did a post, and the first lady of the country had to go after him, and she has been billed to testify against a student, and you have lots of views coming from Nigeria, according to our Nigerian correspondents, about the issue, calling on the first lady to desist, allow this man to be free, freedom of speech, and all these things. Did you follow that, Fendela?
I never had the time to follow in detail, but I follow a parcel of that. I don't know what the law says in Nigeria, but if the first lady is protected under the law to utilize her constitutional power, no one can disenfranchise that right. The same way the poor person in Nigeria has the right to sue a government official if they go wrong, so the first lady is protected under that law. I think that same law applies to Liberia, except the presidency, because our constitution is very clear. As long as the president is in power, you can't sue the president, and the president cannot sue you. But I'm not too sure whether that constitutional provision is extended to the first lady. The first lady is immune. She's excluded. So, and I just want to emphasize it with respect to why I don't know the content of the post, but if there was a direct, attack on the personality of the first lady, and she deemed it necessary to utilize the law, I think, for me, I think that's the best way to go, because she has all the securities. She could use her proximity to her husband, and then, that individual will be picked up. I think there's a message she wants to send out. I don't know the context. I don't know the intentionality of her action, but I think the use of the law, the legal instrument, is the best way forward. That's my conclusion. I don't know the content, but I don't also know whether the first lady is protected under Nigerian law, that while she stays first lady, she can take somebody to court. I'm sure the laws are there, but if for any reason she utilized the constitutional power, of the land to exercise her right, I think she must be applauded. rather than using the security. You know, in Africa, like for example, right here in Liberia, somebody just in the police and they just, especially taxi driver, they just call somebody in the Liberia National Police. Just
you're coming in broken, and that is from your system because we're having the other guys, they were clear. I think you need to look at your system. You're coming in broken, you know, and yeah, you can just look at it. Go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Okay, I'm okay now, right?
Yes, go ahead. I think it's the internet from your end.
Oh no, I mistakenly I did something. I apologize. But as I was saying, I think, my man, the use of the law is necessary. The intentionality of the law is to be applied against individuals and institutions. If the laws were not meant to be applied against individuals and institutions, they wouldn't have been written. So the utilization of the law, those legal instruments, I mean, it's a constitutional, responsibility and a moral necessity, especially where you feel that, well, my rights are trampled upon, and I taking you to court. I'm not going to use my personality, to intimidate people. So I will use the law. Unless, in other countries, like in Liberia, people don't go to the law. Many public officials do not go to the law. They use their power. And there is a difference between power and authority.
But Fendela, do you think, before we can, what's the possibility of, for example, a common citizen and the first lady of a country going to court and that person become victorious?
Brother, the law is the law. I was charged of libel against President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in this country. I was in prison for 10 days. I went to court and I won the case. I left. I was charged. They say libel. Libel is against the president of Liberia. Who am I? That's it. The law is the law. A citizen can win, the person in authority. It doesn't matter. I think we should learn sometimes to really, really investigate. I don't know the context. But in most instances, I know from the point you are asking, in most instances, the people use the power, they use the authority to intimidate, harass. So even when you go to court, there's no hope of winning. That's the point. But I think I applaud the idea of people using the law. Whatever happens in court, the law must be applied so everybody will have an idea. In fact, it will create a national and global attention that a common citizen of Nigeria is in court with the first lady. So people will be doing their independent judgments and assessments with respect to, how the matter is being handled in the court. The judges will also be under scrutiny. Sometimes the importance of the case determine the actors. There are people who, when you arrest them today in Liberia, they go to court, will be like nothing happened. But let police pick you right now from that station and carry somewhere for safekeeping. And after 2 days, surface in court, the attention that will be created in the courtroom will be different from other cases. There are so many cases in the courts, but they are not giving national attention. It depends on the personality and the intentionality of their actions. So it doesn't matter when you go to court. You can win, you can lose. So people will read between the lines.
But I think from that issue, it's just about maybe sometimes most of the things we do has political implications. Mind you, and I continue to say, even though maybe like you and I would say we don't know what the laws of Nigeria would say, but taking a common man to the extent going to court, the possibility, I continue to say, looking at a country like Nigeria, to say that young man, at the end of the day, the only way that he's going to survive, it is based on the public outcry, the condemnation, and you have the folk themselves will realize some issues. But I think people should not be held responsible or held liable for expression, most especially where, for example, you got the social media. Someone said they think this is not happening regularly, and this is how it should happen, and maybe mentioning you as one of the factors. My brother, you in the governance structure, though. No matter what you do, people must gotta criticize what you do. It left with you to make the people to understand if it is truth or what they are saying. But we shouldn't waste our time on that thing. Let's move on. Fendela, there are a lot of things happening in Liberia, and if you want to talk about all, man, you will just talk from these days. We'll not have. Are you following the president's trip, Vendela?
I follow it, but I think I stopped following, and it was because I think it is something that I don't expect the president to be out at this time. Whatever justification that he's giving, the government must be decentralized. The president is not a government. You have the speaker, you have the Senate pro tem, you have your vice president. Your vice president, you have the your cabinet ministers. I think in some events, if the president is so engaged, you can designate responsibilities. The vice president can go and represent you, but you can be outside the country for that long duration, And so at times, when you talk, you just allow it to be. You don't want to be monotonous, repeating yourself like you are a kid. Liberians are watching. They are not stupid. They are cognizant of the fact that the president is not supposed to be outside of the country at this time. I'm sure he knows the reason. The only way people will be happy when the president comes with 100 million, then it's justifiable. Or even 50 million or $75 million. If I was not president of Liberia and had the time to make these kind of trips, we wouldn't have gotten this money. But my short time I spent outside of the country, and this is the amount you all talk about I use, but this is what I brought into the country. It will be justified.
Okay. So let's join our third-minute guest, the man Abdullah Mame. He's an international development practitioner. He joins us tonight on a program from the United States. Abdullah, let me say good evening from Liberia. Welcome to the show.
You are muted. Ambula.
Okay, I think I clear now, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, thank you, Sekou. It's good getting connected to you and the people back home in Liberia, especially, on your new platform. It's good to be back. We can talk 30 minutes about the president's trip and what we've been able to discover since he, made adjustments.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. Fendela, you want to say something before we start the ball rolling?
Yeah, so let me just welcome Mr. Mame. Mr. Mame, welcome. Rightly you place it. Mame is one of those professional young Liberians that is significantly contributing towards national development in our country, as a development practitioner. It's good to have you on this platform. And but we've been saying, some of your write-up with respect to recent development regarding the president trip. I think Sekou had the time to share with me. Will you want to give us a synopsis of what you think about that, the conflicting accounts, so that the public will be aware of what you are trying to proffer?
Yeah, thank you. We decided to pick this up because it has been a trend of the president. It has been something trending over time, where he, travels to events that are supposed to take 2 days and he make 1 week and 2 weeks. But beyond the number of days, who is our president meeting? What the events are for are very important. Who is the president meeting? The events the president are attending, in what role or capacity is he attending those events? How the events are connected to us? So it has been a trend, but we decided to nail this one because the president wrote the Senate and said he was going to the US to attend the Paris Forum from the 9th to the 15th. And after that, he will go to Qatar.
Mhm.
That was his first letter, that the Paris Forum was from the 9th to the 15th.
Mhm.
He wrote the legislature back and said he's extending his stay in Qatar up to the 29th up to the 30th of November, because the Paris Forum that he attended and was thinking it was to last from the 9th to the 15th was extended to the 18th. So we contacted the Paris Forum and inquired about their programs. They wrote officially to Senator Dillon that their program was from the 11th to the 12th, not the 9th and the 15th. But beyond that, their program was never extended to the 18th, as the president claimed. So our question now is, if the president was in Paris from the 9th to the 18th, and the Paris Forum is from the 11th to the 12th, the president is under obligation to tell us what he was doing in Paris from the 12th to the 18th, who he was meeting, and what the outcome of those meetings. From the 12th to the 18th are 6 working days. The president is in Paris and nobody knows what he's doing. Nobody knows who he's meeting. The theory is he's meeting investors, he's meeting this. How can the president meet investors, like real investors? How can the president meet investors in secret? Which president in the world meets investors in secret if it's a real investor?
So what's your point, Abdullah? We will ask you questions in the process, and because we want the Liberian people that are listening and also watching us, we know exactly. What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that all of the releases or communications coming from the president's trip are not as the way they've said them?
Yes, because the president wrote that the reason for which he's extending his stay was because the Paris Forum was extended from the 15th to the 18th. The Paris Forum wrote official communication that their event was from the 11th to the 12th and was never extended. If the president was in Paris for different reasons, he should say it.
Do you have such that you said they wrote? Who did they write?
Let me send you the wrote. They responded to a communication from the office of Senator Dillon. The Paris.
Okay, you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I can share that with you now.
Okay.
So they wrote a communication in response to a communication from the office of Senator Dillon. I'm a policy reform fellow to the office of Senator Dillon. So we communicated to the Paris Forum and they responded officially. I will send you the official communication. I will send you the communication. So you see first our communication and then second their response. That is the problem. Why? And that can be amounted to the president lying on the oath. He wrote and signed the letter. Nobody wrote it on his behalf.
So Amula, you being the development practitioner, I'm specifically concerned with respect to the constitutional integrity. You just mentioned that it suggests that the president lied on an oath based on the documentary evidence you have, and that official communication has been sent to the office of Senator Darius Dillon of Mosorado County. So, assuming that this matter gets to the plenary of the Liberian Senate and it is discovered that the president lied on an oath, what could be the unforeseen circumstances with respect to our own constitutional proceeding in this kind of matter?
The first thing is, before the constitution, let's go to the economic consequences. The travel ordinance says you should spend no more than 7 days out of the country. But if it becomes necessary and important to spend more than 7 days out of the country, spend those additional days and present receipt and make claim for money you spend. So it was against that background that the president wrote to justify why he extended his days. Now that it has been established that the reason for which the president extended his days are false and baseless, and the Paris Forum was never extended, those additional days the president spent outside the country, he should be responsible to bear that cost. The Liberian people should not bear the cost of the president in another country without approval, but beyond without approval, on the basis that have been established to be false. That's one. Beyond the president travels with a delegation. He did not just travel as President Weah. And if you listen to Eugene Nango on the BBC and other people, the people pay for the president travel. When a country pays for a president travel, when a country invites a president and decides to honor the cost of his travel, they are not honoring the cost of his delegation of over 10, 15 people that he traveled with. That's another thing. So the implication for the constitutional implication, I don't want to go there because I'm not a constitutional scholar. I don't know about the law, but my assumption would be the president at that point that has been established that he lied will lack the moral integrity to lead the country. To lie, because the information is even now at the Paris Forum. Folks at the Paris Forum, I'm saying, like, really? Why would the president lie on us? That's the feeling. Why would the president lie on our forum to be able to extend his day in France?
So I'm also, for the sake of the listening public, I don't know who was clogged with the authority of providing this kind of information. I don't know the change of command within that institution. But if you say the communicator with you directly, was it from a high-ranking official within the Paris Forum? Because sometimes there are some bureaucracies, you know. I also want to know in what capacity the president was first, you know, extended this invitation. In what capacity, you know, he spoke, he attended, even though it is reported that it was extended, but it wasn't as per your information that you have provided here, that they have communicated officially. I'm concerned about the capacity the president was invited in, and the response you got from them that it was not extended. Was it from a high-ranking official within the Paris Forum? You know, I'm just trying to contextualize this. Like, assuming, you know, you wrote Minister of Information, and then and you know, like low-ranking personality at the Minister of Information reply to your inquiry. It might suggest that maybe they don't have that kind of authority to respond. So I just wanted to know specifically, you know, this thing, the capacity the president was invited in. Was he the only president that was there, or other presidents were there too? That's one thing I want to know. And of course, who is this person that responded to your communication?
So two things. The first thing is, we did not write an receptionist at the Paris Forum.
Okay.
We wrote those who were responsible for the organizing of the Paris Forum at the highest level, and we receive response in that direction. That's the first thing. The second thing is to further validate the communication to us. The Paris Forum has published on their website that their forum ended, that our forum lasted from the 11th to the 12th and ended and was not extended. It's live on the Paris Forum website as I speak to you, because they don't want further inquiries and stuff. It's there.
So they just updated that?
No, it's been there.
Oh, okay.
It's been there. So it is on the Paris Forum website as I speak to you that their program lasted from the 11th to the 12th. It was never extended as the president claimed. So that's one. The second thing about which capacity he went in and whether other presidents were there. On the same Paris Forum website, the forum published more than 200 people in high-ranking officials who serve critical and important role at the forum, whether it was speaking on specific topics, whether it was keynoting on specific topics. All those individuals who play a key role at the forum, over 250 of them, their pictures, their profile, and the category under which they were engaged with the forum are on the Paris Forum website. President Weah's picture is not there. His name is not there.
So this is where I think okay.
His picture is not there in any critical role, speaking role, keynoting role, panelist role. His name is not there. His picture is not there. As low as the Minister of Information in Ghana, the Ghanaian Minister of Information, because he was playing key role at that forum, his name, his profile is on the website of the Paris Forum for this event. So it brings back to the point, what the president doing to these places? So you just go to forum and pass around and speak to people and take picture and leave. I mean, the president of our country, when he attend these forums, you know, he must attract the attention we deserve, we require. But you just get forum online, you go there, you see one or two people, you take picture with them, and you come out, and the forum is recognizing people who play key and important roles, speaking roles, and the president of our country is not there, but several other presidents are there. I mean, ordinary person like the Minister of Information in Ghana is on the website. So beyond just being invited to an event to attend, what are you doing there? It's another critical point. But we don't want to go into all those things before you confuse our people. We want to stick to the...
Listen, it's not that you don't want to go into Fendera, please, before you come in. You are making some allegations. You want to
quickly. I just sent you the email. I just sent the email response. So I send it to your email. You can check it. I send you the Paris Forum link. You can go on their website and you see the list of over 250 people. President, we are not there. We're not doubting that he attended. He attended the event. That is confirmed.
But so what confirmed he attended the event?
Yes.
But so what? But now listen. Now your argument is based on what? Let's get some things clear, because I listened to Fendela asking you a question. It's very important. Is it that the time in which he mentioned in the letter is where you have a problem with?
Exactly. The time he mentioned in the letter, the basis for which he said he was extending his trip. He said he was extending his trip because the Paris Forum was extended. So because the Paris Forum was extended, he has to extend his trip. The Paris Forum is saying they were never extended.
You've not sent me the communication. Did you send it to the WhatsApp or what?
So I'm on the website. I am seeing that this event is from the 11th to the 12th, confirming what Ambula said. And I also had a time to look at the list of speakers. I did not see the president there. So that's why I was curious to know in what capacity the president was invited. Because I see other head of state. You understand? So I was assuming that under the category of head of state, you know, the president of Liberia. There's no small president, there's no big president. So we have to get that. President or president. You know, we see the president Union of Comoros. We see the prime minister of Adoria. We see the president Republic of Guinea-Bissau, Umaro Sissoko Imbalo. We see the president of Swiss Confederation, Argentine Republic, Alberto Angel Fernandez.
You know, over 200 names.
Yeah, so those names, I look among them. I think the head of state, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 head of state, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 head of states. And we can't find a president. So for me, that's why I was asking you, Mame, who, in what capacity was the president, invited. But again, I think your point that this thing was not extended because it's on the website. I don't see no extension here. So that's why I was asking about the constitutional implication. What will happen if this matter surfaces on the plenary of the Liberian Senate? What could be the unforeseen circumstances?
Yeah, if the president lies, if the president, once it is established, I hope the Senate can have the spine to do that. If they can, because if they can establish, with all the evidence available to them, they just need to, see it. There should be a penalty when the president lies. But besides, that constitutional penalty, which we know they wouldn't go anywhere with, the cost of his travel, he should bear that cost of his travel. Like Brempo should not pay for the president just being in Paris enjoying himself. They should not. And it is not because I'm saying it. It is because that's why the travel ordinance says. The law that governs traveling in the country says when you stay outside the country for more than 7 days, you must provide justifiable reason why you stay there before the government can pay you back your expense. The justifiable reason that the president highlighted was that the Paris Forum was extended. Now it is established that the Paris Forum was never extended. It means the president lied. It means he should bear his own costs.
So Ambula, you just gave the economic implication. For me, I'm concerned about you being a development practitioner with respect to these kinds of things that are happening in the country. What are we learning from here? Where this idea of people willfully or perhaps intentionally conceiving information. For me, I had no idea as far as I'm concerned, the program ended. Yeah, but you said that, the president was invited. Are you also curious to know, yes, I know the people responded to us, with respect to, giving the information to Liberians, but were you not a bit, concerned about in what capacity? I'm sure you read the website and gather all your facts before writing. But the same people that are telling us that the president was invited, the same people don't show our president on the website. But they have confirmed to you that the president was invited. But these same people did not put our president on the website. Are they trying to protect something? Or what is really happening? Because one thing I know about the US. If they invite you in certain capacity, that's why I asked the question. In what capacity this president was invited? Because we saw on the website prime ministers and other head of states. I am sure they were officially invited. And they have their photos on the website as speakers. So I am asking, prior to writing this, I'm sure it's something for us to look at. We read the website, but the same people that are telling us that the president, was invited and the forum was not extended, they did not make anything clear as to whether our president was really invited, or if they invited our president, why they did not put him on the website. Because Liberians deserve to know. I'm also looking at why the president was not included among the list of speakers or even the other categories. But he attended the event. Something is happening somewhere. Either they are trying to protect or not to protect, or maybe it has took them and they are trying to find something. I don't know, but I'm really, really concerned. It is necessary now to send another communication to ask if you invited the president of Liberia, in what capacity. We want to know in what capacity you invited our president. If you invited him as a speaker, it means he should have been on the list of the various categories of individuals on your website. Why he was not there. So you have to be very clear. I think we need to go beyond this thing in this investigation. For me,
exactly.
But yes, this is my observation.
It's a sound observation, and that's part of the thing the Senate, part of the thing Senator Dillon is requesting in a letter to the Senate. The investigation should be full scale, The investigation should focus on, like the people already confirmed that their program was never extended. The investigation should be able to establish that, since Senator Dillon is the one making the claim and using the communication from the Paris Forum as justification. The independent query will be able to establish that one first. The second thing they will establish is the president cannot just leave the country to go sit as ordinary person in an event and walk from there. In what capacity is our president being invited to this event that necessitated him taking up to 15, 20 persons with him?
Ambula, let me just say something.
What capacity?
I am not a lawyer, but the response sent by these people, it has entrapped them. It has entrapped them. It has embarrassed Liberians. Because tomorrow they will be asked, and believe me, if that letter goes, we will ask, if you invited our president, why you did not place him on your website? Why were you, conceiving this information? You put all the other presidents and other invitees on your website. Does it really mean that you invited our president? If you invited our president, because it is your invitation that made us to appropriate huge budget for the president and his delegation to go to France. One, it could mean that you disrespected our president because we don't know where he was. He can't show any proof that he said he went there, but we can't see him on the website. But you invited other head of states. Why our president is not there, but you communicating that you invited the president of the Republic of Liberia and that your program was not extended, that's fine. But why you did not place him in the category that you really invited him? We did not see him on the list of speakers. So was he there as what? You saying one thing, that it was not extended. At the same time, you're telling us that you invited our president, but you did not put him on the list of individuals that you invited.
Let me tell you this, Patrick. Let me tell you this. There's a saying in Liberia, say when you put yourself in tomato cup, they can destroy you with rusty nail or broomstick. If you, the children can say, the small children say, you put yourself in tomato cup, they will destroy you with rusty nail or broomstick. If the Paris Forum invites you as a president to an event just to go sit and watch, it is your responsibility to tell the Paris Forum, I have a world view on issues around the different topics the Paris Forum will cover. Invite me in my capacity as a speaker or panelist so I can present Liberia agenda during the Paris Forum. If you don't do that, you don't blame the Paris Forum. If they invite you as an ordinary guest to come sit down and listen to your friends, and
Abdullah, can they invite world leaders?
Oh, yeah, they did.
So I'm on a website. I'm
Several
on a
of them.
website now. I have a list of guests. No, listen. This is why it says on the website. The forum unites hundreds of speakers from around the world, representing a variety of sectors, local and national governments, international organizations, NGOs, large companies, philanthropic, academia, media, and more. This multi-stakeholder approach ensures a comprehensive balance of sectors, teams, and geographical areas. Everyone from high-profile personalities, project experts, and actors of civil society takes part in open dialogue, standing united in diversity as a key to discuss solutions rather than problems. The forum serves as a platform upon which state and non-state actors engage in transnational cooperation for collective action. Renowned speakers are brought together to lend their expertise in a dynamic program covering both precise questions as well as transversal topics.
Let me just hold you there, Patrick.
They say renowned speakers.
Let me just hold you there. So at these forums, there are different topics. There's topic on climate smart agriculture. There is topic on governance. There is topic on trade. There is topic on immigration. So different topics are covered at the Paris Forum. They have speakers, they have panelists, and they have people who just go sit there to listen. If the president is invited at this kind of event, he must ensure that he plays a critical role that projects the feature, that projects the image, that projects the view of our country. But you go there, no role to play, like you can see on the website. Nobody knows.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody knows what he's doing there. But worst of all, he lied to us that the program was from the 9th to the 18th, when in fact the program was only from the 11th to the 12th. That is the meat of the issue, that the president lied.
So Amula, let me just I want to use this forum that the Liberian Senate has to pay you plenty of money for your research. I blame the Senate. I blame the Senate for being very insensitive to their own responsibilities. Amula, we have a problem in that country. We have a problem in that Senate. The Senate is completely unaware of global happenings. The president communicated to the Senate.
Fendela, let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. And we about to join the presidential press secretary so that we can ask him. Solo Kegbe on the line now. He's following the president's trip. Abdullah, your mic is muted. I hope you're listening to the response from the presidential press secretary on the program. Honorable Kebek, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Sekou, and it's nice being on the program.
First of all, we want to know, how is the trip of the president? I say Gorin, how is the president faring?
Well, the president is okay. He's good. He's in Monaco, where he served as a keynote speaker yesterday at the 13th edition of the International Peace and Sports Forum held in Monaco. And as you are aware, yesterday the president also awarded the Sports and Peace Award for the year 2022, according to the organizer, because of his unique role played in having to inspire other people, including leaders and past sports athletes and even the current ones.
Thank you very much for. Let's move on to the issue here. We have as our guest on the program Abdullah Mame. He joins us from the state. Fendela Patrick and we are presenters of the program. There are allegations that the president is not being seen on the website of the program in which he said he attended, and you have other presidents, you have other speakers being placed there. Why is it the president is not being seen on the website? Is there anything that is happening or Liberians are to be informed about?
Well, I don't know if you say he's not on the website, or I don't know which program are you referring to.
The Paris Forum.
Well, the president attended the Paris Peace Forum. It's not a hidden secret. So I don't know if you say he's not on the website. What does mean? I don't know what whosoever making these allegations are, whatever they are trying to say. I don't know what you mean by that. But the president attended the Paris Peace Forum, which was organized by the organizers. This is not the first time he's been attending that forum. For the past 2 years running, he has been going to the forum. So if he said that he was not at a forum or he's not on the website, then of course I don't know what you mean by that. But the president was in Paris, he attended the Paris Peace Forum.
Sir, in which category was the president invited to such a program?
Well, the first edition, the president was attended first to when he was attended. He was invited by the organizer, and he was asked to make remarks to join some deliberation.
In what capacity? In what capacity, sir?
I don't know what you say in which capacity. Normally, when these forums are held,
was he invited as one of the speakers, or just one of the persons to observe the process? Because he's a president, they just invited him to observe the process. How in all this?
No, he was not. He was not a keynote speaker, but he was one of those at the forums. There are several forums being held. They have what you call some groupings, people discussing sports issue, people discussing peace, people discussing the way forward.
So what role was the president playing there?
And contribute.
That's what we're asking.
Of his own involvement in the uphold of democracy in his country, so that there are sub working groups in which you went there. But if you say he was a keynote speaker, he was not invited as a keynote speaker.
Honorable Solo Kegbe, this is let me be
not talking about the current one.
Let me be specific and exact on my question. Maybe let me paraphrase it in a way that maybe it'll be. I'm asking you, the president was being invited to the program in Paris, the Paris Forum or whatsoever, but the program in Paris. Was he invited to go and make a speech, or he was invited as one of the, attendees that would just go attend the program with, in which capacity?
Exactly.
Was the president invited?
Sekou, this is what normally happens. So probably if you want to know whether the president was invited as a keynote speaker, the answer is resounding no. But when you go to these forums, there are a lot of interactions that happen. Like they have sub-working groups. This is when the president goes, he goes with sometimes the Minister of Youth and Sports, sometimes he goes with the Minister of Education because there are UNESCO programs, sometimes he's invited to, and he goes to make a case. But he was not invited as a keynote speaker. So he was.
So what role did he play when he attended the program? What role did he play? What role did the president play?
He served as one of the facilitators on two different occasions. Firstly, for the UNESCO education program, and then for the Democracy Forum. So there are certain things, certain deliberations. So if you say he didn't go there as a keynote speaker, then of course, yes, he was not a keynote speaker, but he participated.
Nobody.
No, we did. We're not specific about him being a keynote speaker. Abdullah, just wait. We will let you to come in. We know you the guest.
No, I just wanted you to answer the question the way you're supposed to put it, because now you confirm it to us that the president was a facilitator.
So it will level you to prove him right or wrong.
He's like hearing the president talking on the other side.
No, he's talking from the system. So can I call you on the other WhatsApp where you will be in the system and you will get every one of us talking, please? Can I do that quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me do that quick. We're gonna call you now on the station's number. Take this and call on the. I want the other guys to have an interaction. Mile, Fendela, Abdullah, you will need to wait because
I was just impressed when he said the president was one of the facilitators on two of the different streams.
Yeah, he
just want you to confirm that.
So just lead that one with order. I am that will go on the other.
I really want when they send you invitation to attend an event, they put the role you play in the invitation. We invited us, they put it there. So while the president the press secretary doesn't know.
He said the president attended two,
it's not about where you attend.
The man left already.
Yeah.
No, I want to get him on the other line so that you can
send you, when they send you an invitation for an event. When they send you an invitation for an event, they specify in that invitation what role you play in there. It's written. It's not about what you went to, who you met. What the invitation say, what are you invited as? They invited other people as speaker, other people are panelists, other people are moderator, other people are facilitator. What role was the president invited? That's why we're asking.
Okay, so you can go ahead. I just want to message him quick so that we can connect him on the other line.
Yeah, he's the mayor of the day. We expect him to know.
That man doing his research right now.
We expect him to know in what capacity the president was invited. Nobody invites a president to a program without stating the capacity you are invited in.
But he also let's try to get him. Let's try to get him back on the line.
The president people just on the internet looking for events. Put the president need there and they flock behind him. They go sit there, spend 2 weeks. They come back, look for places, put his knee there, and just flock behind him to take Padam. What's that?
Let's get the presidential press secretary back on the line. We're trying to, because we want him to get you guys. I hope I trust the ability of Mr. Solo Kegbe to Someone said you already get a man in line, and you go let a man to go. But he needed to. You needed to get you guys, so that we can.
Come to go make research right now. You think I'm
No man.
It's
No,
better
man.
for me. It's better he made the research and provided facts.
No, but you can't say so. The man is informed. He's gonna be.
No. But I think that whatever the case may be, we were hearing him. But I think if he really deemed it necessary to come, it would be a good thing. But well, what I just wanted to say, I don't know whether you still trying to get in touch with him.
Yes, go ahead.
These things, I mean, it's a national embarrassment to the country. The first thing, the state security need to be aware when the president is leaving the country, the president has to state clearly, I'm going to this place, I'm going to serve as keynote speaker, whatever. It's not just about attending a forum. There are certain things you can do looking at your presidential dignity as a president. There are certain events you don't go, because it diminishes your personality or your presidential powers. Sometimes certain responsibilities are delegated. You allow people to represent you, not necessarily that you don't want to go there. It's like almost you are a public official. Every birthday party, children birthday party, you there. Somebody getting married, you there. Somebody having the other one, you there. You can be all over the place. Sometimes you have to attach certain relevance to the presidential post that you hold. This kind of forum for me, because imagine you sitting in the room with people, I'm not trying to condemn them, but where the presidents are, you are not there, and that's why specifically I was concerned. The Senate is completely dead. I think we need real men and women in the Senate. Imagine, Ambula, we are having this conversation because of your research. It's because of you. The Senate in the first place, they don't even have a website for people to even locate them. They go in the Senate, not a single senator.
Let me hold you there. We have the presidential press secretary on the line, Assis Solo Kegbe. He joins us. Let me say thank you for rejoining us. At least you've lived up to your word, because we said we'll call you back. Welcome to the show. By this time, all my colleagues will hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the question I was asking you, and Fendela will come in. One of the allegations that has been leveled against the president is that the time in which he mentioned in the communication to the legislature, specifically the Liberian Senate, is quite different from the time the program was held, based on the communication from Abdullah Mame. What are the times the programs were held, and that was
Sheku, I think to our listeners and those who are forming part of this platform, should understand that the president communication to the Senate was very clear. The president went to the Paris Peace Forum, and the Paris Peace Forum is not a 2-day event. Before the day even mentioned on communication resume, there are working sessions and working groups working meetings that I've had to lay the platform for the deliberations of the leaders. So the formal program was from the 1st to the 2nd. I mean, from the 11th to the 12th. On the 14th, the president had the bilateral at the palace with Emmanuel Macron. On the 15th, he had a meeting with the Liberian community in Europe. The president left Paris for Qatar on the 18th for Doha. Now, communications are done based on the availability of time or the schedule of the host. The president, from the initial stage when invitation came, he had a plan to hold a bilateral with Macron within the 2 days period, which were from the 11th to 12th. Macron is the host, scheduled his meeting with the president on the 14th. The Liberian community came from all over Europe, from Germany, from Belgium, from France, and all the nearby countries. The president, they decided to meet the president, and the president put their meeting for the 15th. This is why the president wrote
Honorable
national
Cabinet, this
legislation.
is the letter. This is the letter. Let me read portion of this letter. You said the president of France, Honorable Macron, extended the meeting with the president to the 14th, right?
Go ahead, I'm listening to you. Say you're reading portion of the letter.
That's what he said. No, Abdullah, please let me ask. You said he extended it to the 14th, right?
The president did not extend it to the 15th. The president has no control over.
No, I'm talking about President Macron. President Macron extended it to the 14th.
Macron scheduled the meeting. Macron scheduled his meeting for the 14th. That was done before the president left Liberia.
Okay.
This is why when the president left, he wrote a national legislation that he was going for the Paris Peace Forum. And within that forum, he had the bilateral meeting. The president could not aftermath everything that you do on the trip, but you know the period in Paris was from the 11th to the 15th. And this is why he communicated to the national legislature.
But in this letter now, it is showing, let me read this portion. It said the 5th edition of the Paris Peace Forum, which are attended in Paris, France, was extended from November 15, 2022 to November 18, 2022. So I want you to, how can you reconcile that issue? You said the president knew that the meeting, because before he left from Liberia, he knew that the meeting was rescheduled for the 14th. So why didn't he let the people know, but to have left the country and now saying this or sending this letter and mentioning that this meeting has been extended? I'm seeing some conflicting accounts there.
Well, anyway, probably that's your own interpretation. But I'm telling you what happened.
Okay.
When the president left the country, he said you're going for the Paris Peace Forum because of his meeting with Macron and other activities he had. He wrote a national legislature that the meeting was going to go up to the 15th. We did a communication, and I was on Vera platform to explain to you why the president left up to the 18th. The president doesn't have their own flight, the ordinary presidents. The other presidents, I beg your pardon. The other presidents. The president wrote a commercial flight while other people that even attended Paris Peace Forum want a personal flight to Doha. So the president engagement in Paris was not up to the 18th because he had all the engagement. It's because of flight enrichment as well. So if the president went to a host and he finished discussing with a host, if he doesn't have flight, do you expect the president to crawl back or walk back? Firstly, you are making allegations that the president never participated in the Paris Forum. How can people be evil like that? If the president, one thing people need to know, the president is entitled to vacation. If the president has nothing to do, he wants to take his vacation, he take a vacation.
Let it be clear.
No, but you said Sekou,
I'm asking you.
Let me put it to a point. No, don't ask me because I was very clear. I said
he's entitled.
If the president has nothing to do in Paris and he wants to go to Paris, he's entitled to vacation. He would have taken vacation.
So
that's what I said. Let me be clear.
So I'm asking you now, is it a vacation that the president is on? Because he has extended his time beyond what he said to the Liberian people earlier on.
What did he say to the Liberian people? What did he say?
People knew that the president could come back before the time he just mentioned. The president is no longer coming to Liberia up to the 18th of next month. I mean, of this month, sorry. 18th of this month.
The president never wrote the national legislature or he never told the Liberian people that he's coming back before the 18th of February or the 18th of November or the 18th of December or the 18th of January. The president was very clear. Okay? And the president, as the schedule changes, the president notified the Liberian people in a rapid manner and notified the national legislature. Okay? So you cannot say the president is on vacation with the president.
Go ahead, Mr. Kevin. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I thought you said someone was asking a question.
Okay,
so what I'm saying,
Mr. Kevin, I'm concerned. Look, this thing,
as I'm saying, the president is entitled to vacation. If you want vacation, we take it. But what the president is on an official trip. And even if the president is going to come back tomorrow, if there are emergency, if there are situations that he has to handle, you will notify the national legislature and notify the Liberian people as to what the changes are. So the president is there. Everybody knows the president had engagement in the United States. He had an engagement in Monaco. And if he has to go, you will only notify the Liberian people that because of SYC, he's going to continue this and go that. Because if he comes back, you Sekou, if you are the one traveling and you have 1 day in between, you do not have your own flight that you have control over. You come back to Liberia, look for another money, and the next day you go to the other country and come back. Do you think it's less costly to the people? Or do you think it's time
with the president spending
as well?
With the president spending all of the time to watch the World Cup, is it not also expensive to the Liberian people?
The president, you see, I like the way people can put things when they know the actual truth. You people are making things to look that this is the first time the president has gone to World Cup. When the president went to World Cup in South Africa 2010, was his son playing? When you went to watch the World Cup in Brazil 2014, was his son playing? Or if the president went to see or to have a bilateral meeting, or if you are invited by FIFA to attend this one, he went to watch his son play, is it a crime?
Now, yeah, but let me just hold you there, Mr. Press Secretary. Let me just say that I don't know whether he's getting me. These analyses that
I'm not hearing who is talking. No, I'm not hearing the person. If I can respond.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I will re-echo it, but I think you should be. But go ahead, Fendela.
So just I wanted to ask, this analysis is given. The president at the time he went to South Africa in those areas. He did not in any way have the presidential comfort. What he spent as an individual at the time he went over there, he did not go with delegation. He did not go with more than 10%. Secondly, the president did not spend more than 1 month over there. Those days or months or years he talked about. When he went to South Africa, President Weah did not spend more than 2 weeks in South Africa. He did not. And secondly, he did not go more than 10, 15% on his delegation. So when you're making these analysis, you must look at the times that have passed. Secondly, he has to state clearly, you are the press secretary of the president of Liberia. You have to state clearly in what capacity this president was invited in. Was he invited as a speaker? Because under the category of speakers,
he said he was not invited as a speaker. He said that claim, but he needs to tell us.
What was he invited as?
Okay, he invited as what? Because listen now, all those that were invited to speak, they had their names on the website. If he was invited as a participant, then it was not justifiable enough for the president to leave.
Honorable Solukagbe, why is it the president picture or his involvement into the Paris Forum or whatsoever has not been highlighted on the website?
And secondly, before you talk to him, the reason why he attended in Paris, where he served as keynote speaker, his photo is on the website. It means it justifies that this president was officially invited. It's on the website.
So let me answer that other question. Mr. Solukabe, why is it the president involvement has not been highlighted on the website, only the recent one?
And 200 other people involved highlighted.
Other engagement. So past all questions he asked, then I will address all of them at once. Please.
Yeah, so just answer that one, then I will ask the other one again, so that it should not be too boring.
No. Sekou, no. I will be answering the question. I don't have this time because in the first place I took the call. Just to you didn't tell me that you wanted me on the program in the first place. So it's out of courtesy that I take it. So just pass the questions because I'll not be on the line forever.
Okay, you're right. So one of the concerns here is this. Why is it that the president's involvement into the Paris Forum has not been highlighted on the website? That's number one. I'm not talking about the recent one here he held in the area. Number two, my colleague is so keen about this issue In which capacity? You've said, but in which capacity? Was he invited as just a person to go observe the program, or he was invited for a specific purpose? Number three here is Abdullah Mame is alleging that he had an interaction with the prince or whatsoever of Qatar, but they are reporting on a website that it is something different from what the government is saying, that they got some support from Qatar for road construction in the country. Can you just respond to the three concerns, please?
Okay, thank you. So people have their own entitled view. The president met the Emir of Qatar on 4 different occasions. 4 different occasions at the opening ceremonies, and 2 other times at some games that he went to watch the American game, and the last time was the diplomatic, the bilateral meeting that was held. So if you said the 2 of them met and they did not discuss what we reported on the website, whosoever believes that the Qatar did not make commitment, then let it write on their own website or whatever website what the thing happened. People got to be real to their country, and to themselves and to their conscience. How can you say Qatar never made any commitment?
Sekou, we're not talking about the current one. He keep deviating. This is not an issue. We are holding him.
The next thing is the president went to Qatar when Liberia is not taking part because one of the president's son is playing. Paul Kagame from Rwanda was there. Fatih Sisi from Egypt was there. Algeria Prince was there. The King of Jordan was there. Were their country participating in the World Cup? So if the president had a bilateral with his counterpart and they have committed to helping Liberia, and people don't want Liberia to be helped, they'll go ahead and say anything they want to say. So they can go ahead. Is there on any website in Qatar that they contributed to the first phase of the Lofa Road? Or are you trying to say that they make any impact, that they make a financial contribution to that Lofa Road? So if they see that Qatar never made any commitment, fine. But when this thing become real, the same old people be writing the come back. We come back to the Paris Peace Forum you're talking about. The president was invited to attend the Paris Peace Forum. At the deliberation of the presidents or leaders, they discuss. I said to participate in the forum. The people have section, working section where they discuss issues related to peace and development in Liberia. Must it be a keynote speaker? You know he was invited.
Mr. Keber, you know.
We didn't say keynote speaker.
Hello, wait, please. Abdullah, no, listen. Mr. Keber, you're one of the serious persons in the government, and you are the official spokesperson for the president, as a matter of fact. We want you to be clear. There are thousands of people listening to you in the country out of Liberia and watching you, watching what you are saying based on the television they are watching. Was the president invited just to participate as a participant or what?
So I don't know which explanation you want. Probably you want me to give you information, or your guests want information that will suit them.
No, Nana,
if you went to a function,
for example, if
you went to a function, the president was invited. No, listen now. The president was invited to attend and participate in the Paris Peace Forum. You asked me what did he do? I said, as a participant, you are in a leadership forum where they discuss the way forward for peace and development in Africa near the world. Then you say, how was in which capacity?
So it's clear that the president
if you were invited to participate, and you had a session, a working session with your counterpart.
Let me say this,
Mr. Keber, in which capacity?
Mr. Keber, let me say this, please. For example, if anyone is inviting me as the owner of Voice of Liberia to a program, you will tell me the role in which I'm to play. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mr. Keber?
So what I'm telling you now. So a person cannot be invited to a program to attend and participate in the forum.
Okay, so it means the person was invited as a participant.
It's very simple. as a participant and also to attend the forum. As a participant in the leadership, the presidents, leaders of government, they were discussing a way forward, and the president was part of that forum.
Okay, no,
So,
listen.
Do you want you to take the podium and read long speech where you know you're invited?
No, Sekou, we gotta be very clear. I think we have to let him go. We have gotten enough from him.
Okay, thank
it's
you very much,
sufficient
Mr.
enough.
We really appreciate just letting Mr. Kabra, thank you very much. I do appreciate. Let me also go on. Listen, if they didn't care for us to call, and I noticed that this is not being of any disrespect, but I'm going to call the deputy presidential press secretary in person of Smith Toby, because they all were in Paris. They think we need to hear, they think we need to know what really happened.
Yeah, but before you go there, I come in quickly, Sekou. I think for the sake of bureaucratic,
it is very important. Let me talk to Smith. You know, this thing we need to dig deep into it. I have Smith Toby on the line. Mr. Toby, thank you for joining us tonight on the program Issues of Today.
I'm following you, and you just spoke to my boss. Now you calling me?
Yeah, so we in fact, when I leave the line, if it care for me to call Fina 2, I will call Fina Bono, because we want to know what we want to know the actual story from Paris. Why is it we are not seeing the president on the website or for the program he attended? Was the president invited as a participant or one of the speakers for the Paris Forum?
So I don't know how many different sides you want to get from the office of the presidential press secretary. I've been following your conversation with Solo, and I'm sure he's tried to give you answer to your question. So
no, it was not answered properly. There is still doubt. Yeah, there is still doubt. In which capacity the president was invited for the Paris Forum? Was he a participant, or he was invited as one of the speakers? That the main thing we want to know.
So Paris Peace Forum comes with different organizations. We've had the opportunity to cover the Paris Peace Forum. I remember the last occasion the president came to Paris. The forum were organized in a different form. We were just closing up COVID. So people are designated, or people are invited to speak. People are invited to be a part of the high level panel. So at the Paris Peace Forum, leaders are invited to go into global conversation on peace and issues affecting the world. Those discussions are held in the high-level discussion. Not all of the invited individuals that comes to Paris are invited as speakers to the Paris Peace Forum. Again, remember, the Peace Forum in Paris is almost like the country's Independence Day. Like other countries will celebrate the Independence Day, they will invite leaders to come and observe their independence celebration. So similar situation.
Mr. Toby, let me hold you there. And you made let me hold you there. You made a very good point where you said when people are invited, they will either invite you to come and observe such a process. This is the question your boss and yourself, you've not been able to answer. This is it again. Was the president invited? Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Toby. Hello, Mr. Toby. Mr. Toby, no, let me ask this question. Let me ask. No, I will not repeat the question, but let me ask this. Let me ask this form. Was he invited as, because y'all still going around, was he invited as a participant, or y'all made it thing clear? In which capacity was he invited? Because when inviting you, they got to tell you the capacity in which you are invited in to attend a particular program.
Sekou, So before he comes in, let me just make things clear.
No,
here.
he's not listening to you, Fendela. Go
I'm
ahead.
setting a very good premise to give you a direct answer to your question. Apparently, your question is being driven on something else.
Nothing else.
I'm just giving you a picture on how the Paris Peace Forum is being organized. So the president was invited to join others in the high-level panel discussion. That discussion is not a discussion that is done with individual speakers speaking or mounting the podium to speak. So our president, who's come to Paris more than once, who come here to meet President Emmanuel Macron, was invited to join the rest of the leaders that were invited by President Emmanuel Macron to discuss global peace. That discussion was held during the Paris Peace Forum. So he was invited not as a speaker, but he was invited to discuss global peace along with other leaders that were invited by President Emmanuel Macron.
Okay, so
please relay my question. Look, this question has not been answered. That is a fact. President Weah is not an ordinary president. He is the president of the Republic of Liberia. When that invitation was extended to him to leave his country, to go to France, Paris, the invitation was clear. It stated the purpose for which they want the president to leave Liberia to go to Paris. No president anywhere around the world will be invited.
Okay, he wants to come in. Yeah, go ahead.
I come in.
Let me make you to understand something.
Bro, let me learn. I come in. Will be invited. No president anywhere around the world will be invited to a program where
he will to speak at the program. The president was invited to participate in the Paris.
So meaning he was a participant. He was a participant, right?
Listen to me. He was invited to participate in the high-level panel discussion with other leaders.
So
he was a participant at the Paris Peace Forum.
Okay, so that's the answer. Now we need to get so many President was invited as a participant to attend the Paris program. So another thing here is the issue about the president's letter. The guest we have said there are some contradiction where the president is saying something different in the letter, and what the Paris Forum said is something different based on the time they had the program. Can you give us the exact time that the president attended such a program?
Listen, I don't want to be going back and forth with you. I just wanted to provide to you your doubt whether the president was invited.
Okay.
And we've clearly said to you the president was invited to participate in the high-level panel discussion at the Paris Peace Forum, where he met other leaders, and on the end of his stay here, he had a bilateral meeting with President Emmanuel Macron. I covered the president here in Paris, so that I can give you the entire picture of what took place in Paris, because I accompanied the president at the Paris Peace Forum, and I knew that he was in the forum. He participated at the high-level discussion with other leaders that also came here, including Sissoko Mbalo and other African leaders that were invited by President Emmanuel Macron.
Have you seen the website of the Paris Peace Forum on their website?
Yes, I've seen it.
What have you to say about it? What have you to say about it? The president is not being mentioned in it, though.
No.
Besides that, it did.
Because
it's the meeting. Is that whether the president is mentioned there or not? It did.
Photos that came out of the Paris Peace Forum.
Okay.
We are not like the photographers that we do in Liberia, where when they're having program, 1 million journalists will follow the president inside of their meeting. The photos of the president are controlled and published and given to the respective embassy by the State House, the media house of the State House are responsible for photos with President Macron and his guests. They determine when to put those pictures out. If it is immediate, it is out immediately. If it's going to take some time, they will process them and send them to the respective embassies. I've covered Paris Peace Forum more than once, and I can tell you for sure, when there is a time for the picture to come out immediately, they come out. If it's going to take some time,
but why the other pictures are out, then this can be out.
Pictures. Those are all pictures. So we can go for the people to say you give our president pictures.
Okay, so how about the picture with Qatar?
I did not go to Qatar.
But the Qatar picture is out though.
Yes, of course, because
Abdullah,
that whole thing about picture is trivial. Let's go to the real issue.
The security arrangement is not like what happened in Paris. It was a walk-in because there was different security arrangement. Every heads of state had their own security arrangement. They got their own media and arrangement. Sometimes you only see the state media covering these visits. Even media following.
Okay, so Mr. Tobe, how is the president currently? I'm told he's in Monaco. Am I right?
Yes, you are 100% right.
So how is the president? How is it going? The people are saying they're going to take issue. The lawmakers are saying they're going to take issue with the president.
Are you satisfied with your Paris Peace Forum conversation? You want to go to Monaco now?
no, that is okay. No, the Liberian people are listening. We have their own say.
Yeah, because we see a all being sentimental on this president travel because the president is not here on these travels on his personal conversation. So if we are discussing the issue of the president and you want some clarity, give us the platform to explain this clarity to you. But if you're giving us the picture like you said, you are there or you are here.
No, the war is advanced. Bossman, the war is advanced. Anything that happens in Europe today, we can know.
It is.
So,
it is. So,
and we have correspondence. Hello. We have correspondence around the world. We have correspondence around the world. We have correspondent there.
In Paris.
We have correspondent. Beatrice is our correspondent.
Go to the Paris Peace Forum. Can he show you his ID number that he went to the Paris Peace Forum?
I can give you detailed information. It's a female. We have a correspondent in Europe. Her name is Beatrice.
So your Europe correspondent goes to the Paris Peace Forum and then I see President we are at the high level meeting. I was at the meeting. So I'm saying to you with the authority that I have because I went to the meeting.
No, I'm not disputing that he did not go. No, let's get this.
There's no claim here that the president did not go to the Paris Forum.
I'm not saying that.
Your interpretation of the president's visit to Paris is that the president weren't invited to Paris or he came to Paris maybe just.
No, sir, Mr. Tobe, that is not the issue. That is not the issue.
The president received an official invitation to participate in the Paris Peace Forum, which of course he honored because of a relationship between President Weah and President Macron.
Okay, so it's clear now. So Liberians know the capacity in which the president went in France for. The capacity in which he went in, yes. So he went as a participant.
I think we have gotten what we wanted.
So the Paris Peace Forum look at several different things.
Okay, Mr. Tobe, I wish you all the best, boss man.
Had to do with the heads of state and government that discuss peace issue.
You see how they do looking. You see how they do looking. You taught listen. You taught me now. Let me hear. I holding you. I better think of me about. The man taught me how to do the thing I did with the mail.
I need to be clear with you so the audience can get the benefit of your show.
Okay.
It is not about us. It is about us helping your people and the people of Liberia understand.
No, it is your work. It is your work. It is your work to inform the Liberian people.
So the first thing
as to what we know.
Okay.
You have the right to doubt what we are saying, but we are providing to you these facts.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The president met the Crown Prince of Monaco last night.
Okay.
Very interesting conversation.
What did the country stands to benefit?
Again, you want Liberia to benefit. So we are discussing
the country, Liberia, and the city of Monaco. President Weah was very happy to return to Monaco. He received the Peace and Sport Award, the 13th edition, which of course he spoke last night. I'm sure you've been following that one. You saw him meet with the Crown Prince at the palace. It was a one-on-one meeting. It was a bilateral conversation. Monaco is a city.
The award is a self award. I'm saying what the country stands to benefit.
Self-award recognizing the work of the president. So if you are Liberian and people give you an award for what you're doing in Liberia, it means that people are monitoring your work.
That taxpayers' money the president used to go to Monaco just to go get a award for himself.
So you know, when you ask that question, then you speak like somebody who.
No, I'm asking you. I'm speaking the journalistic way. I'm asking you.
These channels.
No.
How can you even sit and ask a government headed by a president that taxpayer money and the government used to come to receive an individual award?
So I'm asking you, Mr. Toby, what the country stands to benefit.
So when we're discussing about improving the life of the people of Liberia through health, through education, through sports, through rules development, like the president was putting forth the case of Liberia last time with the Crown Prince of Monaco, you think he was talking about beating a horse in rehab? Or you think he was talking about beating his horse in Grand Cru? Or he was talking about a buying car for his family? He was discussing Liberia and Liberia interests with the Crown Prince. He was not discussing his personal issue.
Okay, Mr. Tobe, thank you.
If Liberia is to benefit from the president, it means that the president needs to get out and knock on other doors to make our country develop.
We wish the president all the best.
We believe in one country for many years and we remain the same. For us to get out of where we are is for us to make many new friends.
Okay.
If those friends will make us to be a better people, we will definitely have to do that. And we need to stop speaking the minds of Liberian people and thinking that the president is doing nothing here. You will see the benefit of all of these travels when the president shall have returned.
We are here to see it. Thank you very much. We wish you and the president his entire interact success, yeah?
Thank you, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Abdullah.
It was very interesting recently.
It's very important to emphasize it's unfortunate that we did not have the time to really question him.
No, we had the time. We still got time.
No. I mean, with respect to, I personally want to engage him, like what you were doing. People may see this as people trying to be, antagonistic to the presidency. That's not an issue. But I think if I was president of Liberia, I will fire Smith Tobe. I will fire the press secretary and the deputy with immediate effect. I think the communication arm is weak. They are not effective. The first thing, when you are with the president, you have to be very careful because you manage communication. They say when you speak, you tell the world who you are. The image, George Weah, forget about the presidential dignity that is attached to him now. But when he was at the realm of soccer, he never went anywhere where his role was not defined. What more, he's president of Liberia. If the president had left the Republic of Liberia as a participant, I am sure the Senate would not have allowed him to go. You go into a forum as a participant. You took so many persons on your delegation. Can you imagine that?
Okay, we have guests on the show. Fendela, we have a guest on the show. Abdullah Mame is our guest. Don't let the show too. Abdullah, you listening to what the presidential press secretary and his deputy they said. You want to say something and then before we go to the lines?
I think Smith, unlike Fendela's view, Fendela has a strong point around the issue of participation, but I think Smith did a better job to explain the president's activities in Paris. And that speaks to why it is important to take people who get important role to play when you travel, especially as a president. Smith is speaking to these things because he was in Paris with the president. But The both of them focus on trivial issues, both Smith and the press secretary. In as much as Smith tried to
No, but you
explain,
yourself, you're not telling them how to answer the questions.
no, I'm not telling them how to answer the question. I'm explaining my
so-
opinion on
Their,
how
their
they address
responses,
the
I
issue.
come in, Ambula, quickly. Their responses were, they were unprecedented, especially someone who speaks for the president or for the office of the president.
The reason
was
is
unprecedented.
simple. The reason is simple, Patrick. The reason is there are more things to hide. There are more bad things to hide about the president's travel than there are good things to show about his travel. So for that reason, you put the presidential press secretary and the deputy in a third position to communicate. We should not be discussing the president's travel to Paris and in what capacity he's going. We should not be questioning that. It should have been released to the public before the president's departure. The press secretary, the office of the president, can announce that the president is meeting investors. Really? And they cannot name one business.
Let's go to the lines. You know, having the.
I come in now. You took the show on Smith. You called me as a guest. You took over 30 minutes on Smith and
Abdullah, go ahead.
Good.
Because
so you want to give me a chance.
Go ahead.
So the crux of my coming to this show was to demonstrate that the president lied, that the Paris Forum was extended from the 15th to the 18th, for which he had to extend his stay in Qatar. That was the letter he wrote. The letter is verbatim. That the Paris Forum that he attended from the I think he said 9 to the 15 was extended to the 18th. The Paris Forum has written that their program was from the 11th to the 12th, but more than that, that it was never extended to the 18th. That is the crux of the discussion. So all the things about participation.
The presidential press secretary, he said that was done even before the president left because the schedule was being changed by the president of France.
Whether it was done before or done after, the Paris Peace Forum says their program was the 11th and the 12th and were never extended. That's the communication in your hand.
Now, listen now. Okay, you know, you having this, like you so keen about the people saying this and something different happened. What this has cost the country that is so great to the extent that even the benefits that the government said they've received, it has not been told by you.
Good. So, two reasons. One, this has been a trend where an event is occurring for 2 days and the president will take a delegation with him and keep them there for 2 weeks. That's one. The second thing is when we made contact with the Paris Forum regarding this issue, it created an embarrassment for the country. For the fact that the people know full well that their program was the 11th and the 12th, and the letter from the president was sent to them, and they saw the president writing a letter signing that their forum was extended to the 18th. It is an embarrassment. It questions the moral standing of the president. Like the press secretary said, he got time for vacation. Take your vacation. But if you travel out of the country and inform us that you're going to an event and the event was extended, and it comes back to show that that event was never extended, it brings your moral standing to lead as a president to question. The president is not traveling alone. He's traveling with a delegation of people. The more time they spend out of the country, the more it costs the country. Then people talk about, other people did it too.
Okay, so let's get the participation of Liberians. I'm sure you want to also listen to what Liberians they've got to say. Let's go to the lines. Our guest today on the program is Abdullah Mame. He joins us from the United States of America. My name is Sekou Sharif, and my co-pilot is Fendela Patrick. We are together tonight. Abdullah Mame is our international development practitioner. We're talking about the president's trip. Let's go to the lines. We announce the numbers. Where should we go? So when I announce the numbers, the call just start coming you. 0770907907, 0770907907, That same number can be used on the WhatsApp. You can call that number. For those of you out of Liberia, you want to participate, call the 0770-907-907. You will get us on the WhatsApp. You can also call that number directly. You will get us on the local lines. 0880-907-9072 is the MTN line. Let's take this person on the line here. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Sibu, this is Nathan Kume, and I'm calling you from Conway.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for talking point. You know, for me, thank you for bringing out this happening to be friends, because the people to be friends, they lie to all. You know, I always say that keep people going on this station is not good to be friends. Therefore, they were living in country every day. They must say, "Man, talking that the man went there to talk to see the world, you know, to talk and invite them." Now they made to understand that how they call it, the man, there, nothing is going to be friends. You know what I'm saying? So you love your country and you know say yeah, and they say that man want to love it. You want to love it. They can't put that kind of put with you for our resources in your country.
Okay, let's take another person. Hello.
Mandela, how you guys doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you doing? I'm Chief Director Charlie.
Go ahead.
Hello.
I've been following this show. Let me comment. Somebody was saying that you should start checking, you know, solo Kevin. I'm completely disappointed in them, you know. And the best is the best. But the president is very simple. That's a high-profile discussion, high-profile meeting with presidents. Not ordinary people. So you expect when they go stand somewhere and speak. No, it doesn't work that way. Participants are presidents. Based upon that, he participated. So that's what is the issue? You know, so the guys must be commended for a very strong and hard work.
Okay, thank you very much. This person,
thank you,
hello.
Mr. Charlie. Thank you.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Happy Korean. I'm calling from the township of West Point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just want to put the question this tonight. Yes, who is the caring father that will just leave a house to go to another man's house just for his own self?
All right, thank you. What's happening? Okay. Let me take another call here. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, brother.
My man, not afternoon time here. Evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Jim Farah from Pastor Committee Mobile Appeal, District number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, my brother. So I want to ask you for now, who is the help for this country now? Because we don't have no father for us now. So in case we say we want to child to pardon to us now, who talk on behalf of the president is lying down in Qatar? He said that he wants to see a son playing worker. So he left us here in going Qatar. So my brother, so the president doing it will be on the playing ball next year.
Let's take another person. Hello.
Hello, Sekou.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. And let me say good evening to Fendela Patrick and to Mohammed. Mohammed, this is DJ Lumet. You know how life is hard to defend. Lies when you lie. I listen to Smith stuttering, my brother. Look, let God help us, my brother. My daughter is my grandchild, Yemi Hassan. I can't disturb. Let me call it.
Thank you. Let's take another person here. Hello. Hello. Good evening. Are you on the line? You got other people suffering to get on the line. You on the line. You're doing something different. Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I mean, talk let me on.
Yeah,
on the
good
line.
evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Equity G. Sagi calling from Burma Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for your discussion in studio. You see, this thing is happening. It's just like somehow we can't talk or we can't call. Something that for me, I dream about me. Somebody is trying to run away.
You are?
Something I dream about from the time our president took over. I have 3 good dreams about him. But it's hard to talk. You are big people. So we pray for him to be successful. But it's not easy on him. I tell you for free.
Hey, let's take another person here. Hello.
Hello, this is American Morris. I call from Bannersville.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we listen to Solo Kepe and the other guy, Smith Topic. You know.
Go ahead, you're live.
Yes, there's no way they can defend a lie, and I thank you guys for being stereo. I mean, for the information you are providing. You know, this guy cannot defend the president. You see, the only legislature is decided to even someone there after he shall return. The days I personally ever left the country to go attend those programs, this Liberian people has been and lied to by even the president himself. And now there's this serious allegation. So what can people defend?
Okay, thank you. Another person here. Hello.
Yeah, hello. This is Darius too, calling from Lukington.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say this. Still, I'm disappointed in my president. I'm a citizen, but the manner in which the president is proceeding with this country is bad. I'm disappointed in, and I'm going to give you.
You're not hearing the good things the president is getting us out there. That one you not. The way they can say who you appointed before you be disappointed.
When the man was not president, the man was an individual that even if he traveled at the time, no one has problem with it. But where he wish he is then paying with Liberian people money, and those that he carry, he is responsible for them as well. Pay by the Liberian people money. So that is why for Eastern years, when he is going out there, he should be quite vulnerable by the Liberian people. He should tell the Liberian people where he's going, what he will be doing there, and when he will be coming. So we need to ask this question. We have the right. We have the right.
Okay, thank you. This person, hello.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Cooper, the Red Mass Sedition, coordinator of the Red Mass Sedition supporter against the re-election of John Manawia. Actually, we are our president, that the John Manawia are actually trying to make things to go differently, and our plans now towards now our minds are changing gradually because of the way in which he has proceeded, he allow solo in order to fool in that go you have your day out, and not the proper ways to leave this country to go on the mission or to go and lobby. It's not the proper way. It's a breach of constitutional. So we are staying up to 5 years. It's a breach of constitutional. So he has breached the constitution because he cannot go out, money those people who want to go out to go see other countries. They want ride on your knee to go when you enjoy on the fun.
Thank you. Another person here. Hello.
Hello, Sherry.
Good evening.
I just want to comment. I'm Afan Asmana Abdullah Sherry, calling you from McDonald Street. I just want to commend you for today. On a serious note, today I know that you gave me my happiness, my proud as a journalist. Journalistically, you presented the question to Toby and Bob. They refused to answer the question. But now we're sending. This is the issue that we're looking at. So we are traveling to Liberia to France. He asked a question and which I really wanted the result from Toby to us. Why does it stand to benefit the citizens of Liberia?
Okay, thank you. Another person. Hello? Hello? This person. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, hello, Sebu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sebu, I want to tell you thank you for your hard job you do for the Liberian people to get our understanding clear. That everything the president do, you always come and bring out the good information. I will always listen to your station and will always tell you thank you. Thank you, Sebu.
The day we go against your own thing and I always say me and Federal we pay Ajo. Hello.
Sebu, really?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Sebu, I'm Lawrence Spencer. I'm in Johnson Road Township.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, let me say good evening to Vandara and Mambi. You know, sometimes I want to see for my big Ross made to me and next look at them. Or again, I want to better said, if I did, they are here where too. So, man, you want a tourist visit to you, and then sadly wasting our money on their own enjoyment. Because to defend President William is very difficult. And, you know, the way they go about conducting themselves on the affairs of the state, just now when our brothers who are in the communication arm, the regime come to the public,
They appear that they are not on top of their game. And Smith told me, I mean, like you were rightly joking him. There's a veteran. And Smith, okay, on our flagship program.
Okay, my man. Thank you. Let's leave all that one. Let's speak to the issues. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Mohammed Smallman calling from Chocolate City. Yeah, anyway, man, I just speechless and disappointed, but I don't even want to go far, man. I mean, we all voted for George Weah, man, but I'm really very disappointed. They say North we need to be causing behind Madam Ellen at the time when she was president. We said she's traveling with a lot of people, spending our resources. We insulted her a lot. We said a lot of things. We went against her, and we definitely put her down with our mouth. This is the same shoe that we are already put her foot in.
Okay, thank you. We coming to call it a day on the call, so we need to move on. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yes.
Mr. Sherry.
Yes. Conclude quick, please.
Good evening to Mr. Daniela Patrick. My name is Shaq Biggett Jr. and I join you from Balance Garage Market. You know, my brother, let me just say this to you. You see, on the reason why the people can believe this government, because the people there, they can be doing the wrong thing, then they won't make it, you know, they won't make people to look after they say they're not just. That's when they see the press secretary and the assistant press secretary was doing just that. The question that he was asked, he never answered that question properly. At the end of the day, he started giving talk because he now wants for us to give us with correct information. So let me just say this to you: if the people say the president Makane gave a account of his visit to Qatar, right? So the only place they get to justify that Lopa Road. Lopa Road that was started by United Party-led government.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. Let's go to Abdullah. Abdullah, listen to the calls here. Let's wrap up. We need to move on.
They call rallies the sentiments of the people. People are not happy that the president is out of the country for more than a month. But more than that, the people are not happy that the president is out of the country with a delegation of people that the government spends money on for doing nothing. They attend these events, they stay outside, they sleep with their friends in some, apartments and other places, and put money back in their pockets and come home. Those are not transformational,
When your government was in power, UP, what did they do?
I don't know when you say when your government,
Didn't you support the Unity Party?
I worked for the government of Liberia. I'm not a Unity Party partisan. I worked for the government of Liberia, like Nathaniel McGill worked as assistant minister, like George Weah worked as peace ambassador, like other officials of CDC worked for the government of Liberia. I worked for the government of Liberia.
But you cannot be, you shouldn't be associated with Unity Party. Eh?
No, I come in. So you can associate George Weah and Nathaniel McGill with Unity Party because you work for Unity Party.
I'm asking you, Abdullah Mame. I'm asking you. I'm not saying George Weah or what. So you should not be associated with Unity Party.
Associate me with my role that I serve in government. If I wanted to join Unity Party, I would have joined Unity Party. I'm an ideological person. I have a complete different ideological line from what the Unity Party, believes and pursues. So it's completely different. So the point I was making is, they are not on any transformational agenda. When they travel and they sit and they come back and they make money. All the callers you listen to today are communicating the sentiments of Liberians. What we are on this show for is to push for the president's action to be investigated, not only to expose it, but so that in the future, when another president writes, or even this president writes the legislature and say, I'm traveling for 10, 15 days, the legislature will do due diligence. There have never been due diligence conducted on these communications. This is the first time we're coming to conduct due diligence, and we're doing it because the president lied and must bear the consequences for his action. So we do these things not because we only want to expose what Georgia is doing as bad, but we want to correct a system that going forward, these things can be corrected.
And this is what and this is what I want to say, and we need to be frank and honest with issues. Abdullah Mame, you are one of the persons when I talk about the Unity Party government, people point finger at you because of your role you played. Either some people saw it to be positive, some people saw it the way it's supposed to be at the time. Someone say if you had to correct government or governance, you don't have the face to do such.
You asking me?
You don't have. You are not the right person to do such.
What's the definition? I'm the right person to do it. The reason why I and other people are the right group of people to do it is because we have seen how these things fail and how the consequences impact the people. We lived in that country for 12 years under the Salif administration. We saw how they mismanaged a travel ordinance. We saw the impact and the consequences. CDC were not in exile. CDC were not in space. They saw all these things come back and replicate exactly the wrong things they saw and even do it the worst way. And you say somebody, okay, so George Weah has statutory. George Weah and the CDC had statutory obligation and responsibility in the Senate to ensure. Let me lay on this.
Please conclude, please.
Yeah, let me lay on this. I never had statutory authority in government. I was an employee. George Weah and the CDC has statutory authority and power to ensure check and balance, to ensure resources were directed to people, to ensure people who store resources, budget performance report would have shown that they should not receive additional money. They sat in the legislature for 12 years, and you can't tell them that they are not the right people to speak when they have statutory authority.
Abdullah Mame, it has been a nice time having you on the program, even though we talked to you for 30 minutes, but we've gone more than 30 minutes. I want to say thank you. And we're going to have you on this show most often on lots of issues of interest. Thank you very much for, accepting our invite on a very short notice.
Thank you.
Okay. He's Abdullah Mame, and let me say thank you for what you've done. We informed him on a very, very short notice, and he said he's going to do it, and he did. So I want to say thank you very much for, accepting our invite. He's international development practitioner, Abdullah Mame, being on the program. But we need to transition now. Fendela, I can see Fendela, the man quite to get the man say Mame. Okay, so please play all this thing. Cummins had a press conference today, and we started the issue yesterday, and it is just fair enough for us to end it. So let's play. Let's.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
So let's have it. Yes.
I thank all of you, distinguished members of the press, for being here, and especially in these difficult times. I thank the Liberian people, from mosques to churches, from markets to schools, from prisons to hospitals, across all political parties, ministries, agencies, and institutions of the government. No Liberian needs me to tell them that things are bad and only getting worse. Sadly, President Weah and few of his officials who are overseeing and benefiting from the downfall of our country either do not understand this or simply do not care. The heartlessness is wicked and intolerable. 5 years later, JFK remains for drivers and securities, while hospitals overseas treat government officials who fail to properly equip and provide for the upkeep and upgrade of the hospital. And what is worse, they are doing it at the expense of those who cannot afford to go to the hospital. They have failed. The rally is expected to bring together members of the CPP national leadership, partisans and supporters from the 17 districts of Montserrat County. In view of the above, the CPP is requesting the use of the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex facility for the holding of this upcoming rally to your kind cooperation. Kind regards, Councillor Aloysius, we got a lawyer here, make sure we don't make mistake. Deputy National Secretary General, CPP. The receipt. The invoice. The Ministry of Youth is supposed to send us an invoice based on the letter. Invoice number 506. Ministry of Youth and Sports, Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex.
Responsible, frame the issue about jobs are the ones peddling jobs in the country. Of recent, there was an arrest made by the Joint Security and the help of some international institutions. Can you be specific to the Liberian people as to the institutions you're talking about? And lastly, yes, please, it's very important. Lastly, you said you got a permit from the Ministry of Justice. We want you to let the Liberian people know, when did you send a letter to the Ministry of Justice? When did the Ministry of Justice give you the approval? And if you don't receive or if you don't have the time to go at SK, will there be any issue with the Ministry of Youth and Sports because you pay your money according to you?
But why would I go there in the first place? I tell you, we'll be there.
How they said no political institutions use any of the activities. So that's what I'm asking.
I think the letter said on the inside. I think you should read that letter again. But the letter was not even addressed to us. And they already get our receipt. They get our money. The letter was not even addressed to us. So CDC won't pay yet. I think they wanted to use the turf, so they were telling CDC.
Okay, because of time, Fendela, you need to jump. Because of time, put Fendela on now, brother. Yeah. Because of time, Fendela, you like you said, you followed the press conference. There are lots of things he talked about. You want to share in your thoughts when before I come in, and then we can go to the lines.
Yes. So I had a time to, and thank you for those brilliant questions that you asked, including other journalists.
4 questions, 4. The minutes
and so what I want to say is, yesterday, I think it's a confirmation of what we spoke about yesterday. Remember, we started this conversation last night, and it generated a lot of controversies. But today it came from the House's mouth, and the press statement was held. I want to use this platform to call on the ANC, Mr. Alexander Cummins. I think he's a decent character. He's completely different from the political actors of Liberia, given his orientation and in a sector that he has worked. He's trying to transition into political process. In this country, he has to be very careful because the actors from the past that have besieged the ANC and trying to reinvent new strategy to introduce within the ANC, Mr. Cummins will not cope with that. If he's not careful, the presidency will be far from him. What am I saying this? For 4 reasons. The message of protest makes a lot of sense. If I sit on this platform and say what he articulated, it's not a fact, I will be lying. But there is a message and a messenger. The conveyor of this message has mutilated characteristics that cannot make anyone to trust him. We want people, especially political actors in our country, to be consistent in the pursuit of democratic happiness or competing for national elections. Mr. Brown is inconsistent. Mr. Brown used his platform as Minister of Information to threaten civil. Today, he's crying. And that's why we call on the CDC. This is a trap. This is the trap for the CPP, specifically the ANC, because Liberty Party is now putting up a standard barrel. Mr. Kumi has to be very careful. Mind you, Mr. Brown is on record of using the platform of the NDC, the National Democratic Coalition, around 29 or 2010, where he used the platform of the NDC, the National Democratic Coalition, to describe the president of Liberia as someone who desecrated the sanctity of the presidency. In no time, he found himself in the government he insulted strategically. Early made him to be the mouthpiece of the government. The same mouth he used to insult that woman, they put him in the position where he was using the same mouth to praise the same person he insulted. It is good to have political alignments and realignments. If I should borrow the words of Augustine Kafon, elections are coming. I have been an activist for a long period of time. I have been physically and psychologically tortured for what I believe, specifically speaking against bad things in society, the fight against corruption and abuse of human rights. To use that platform, and the ANC is sitting to celebrate. I am saying this because we told the CDC a few years ago, people who follow me, the moment President President George Weah appointed his first cabinet ministers, and I saw that he reappointed some of the previous government officials, we had problem where he reappointed them. I knew that President Weah will encounter problem. And we said this country is not going to proceed in the right direction. When we sit down and we see people who looted state resources being reappointed into government without subjecting them to audits, the government did not listen. Today, the wahala, the noise in the country is as a consequence of the refusal of the government to prosecute individuals, subject them, to audits. Today, we're saying this again. Kumis will go nowhere in these elections. Protest is not the sole means of use to advance to political power. It will delay. Already you have competing priorities. You are not the only person that contesting. You have not established your political institution as one of the most robust institutions. Before you leave protest, conditions. Liberians are preparing to retire this government or to maintain this government. We don't know which way they will go. But the variables are already clear. Where they will go, most people, they don't talk because they believe they are still looking at other options. When this protest is held, if the momentum is not there, it kills the political ambition of Mr. Alexander Kumis. If it goes fine and everything is concluded, everything is okay, he might take the glory. The third thing, they are not going to collaborate because the UP-led government, the UP is no longer part of the collaborating political party. And anything that has to do with a protest, it will mean to advance the political relevance of one political party. Therefore, other people will discourage their members from going there. You have to be very strategic in these kinds of things because everybody are doing this. Is doing this for political reason. Mr. Brown
let me come in. Let me come in, Fendela. Let me come in. There are a few things I want to make clear first. You know, yesterday when we had a conversation, we were doubtful as to whether the news from the Secretary General of CDC in person of Jefferson Koji, whether it was truth. Based on the press conference today, the press conference validated the portion in which where the Secretary General said they were planning, he said protest. But today, Ambassador Louis Brown said rally. But that process was never announced to the public or to have a press conference as to announce because protest is different from rally. Let's get it clear. Protest is something that you don't need to announce, like you said yesterday, Fendela. You just need to do within the confines of the law. But rally is something that much more professional and peaceful. So when you're having a rally, why didn't Louis Brown make this public so Liberians will be in the know? But like he said, quote unquote, they wrote a letter. He read a letter during the press conference to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. He said they sent a communication to the Ministry of Justice, but he did not read the letter, which I asked to get the specific date the letter was written to the Ministry of Justice. Another question that I asked, I said, knowing fully well that the voter registration will start on the 16th of this month, and you having a rally or whatsoever you call it on the 17th, knowing fully well you are a political party that is eyeing or vying the presidency, don't you think you will have some kind of interference with the process? This was his direct answer, and we have it here. He said he thinks by even having that rally, after that rally, the people will know who to vote for, why to vote for, whom to, and he gave reasons. So he sees no reason or no problem with having a rally on the 17th. But yeah, a few points. It is clear that either the ANC people live with this, that they have spies among them, someone among them that could be giving information.
Exactly.
That they need to live with it. And I listened to Mr. Brown today. He said, Koji wants to act like he's so sophisticated and all these things. What they were doing, it was not in hidden. It is true that you think it was not in hidden, but you did not announce it to the Liberian people.
Until he spoke.
Until Koji spoke yesterday. And you came up today. And sometimes when you're acting smart in political issue, you can overlay act smart and then you make mistake. If I could be in that position or whatsoever, I allow it to slide. I won't, because you know what they've done? They've given more reasons or they've given weight to what Koji said about them.
It's a validation. Yes.
They've validated it in a way that they've come up to agree to what Koji said they're going to be having. Listen, Koji was exact on some things. He said they're going to be having a protest, even though the people from ANC, Mr. Brown is saying it is a rally, but they were going to be having it on the 17th. Didn't Mr. Brown say on the 17th? He said it. He called names of institutions and people that will form part of the rally. But my thing here is, why would you go do a rally to, SKD and was looking at some security implications? The president, listen, Fendela, let me say this. The president is to come in the country on the 18th, right? And you go to SKD on the 17th with a rally. You say peaceful rally. It's good. And the president lives to ELWAN, where you going on SRA. And that rally, according to the allegation, it is something they want to do continuously. The possibility of them being successful, it could be. The president living that route, and the president is coming on the 18th. It could have some interference in a sense that there will be some conflicting issues. How sure it is that that rally might not extend for more than 1 day? Or is it something that they're just going to do for 1 day and leave? Or is it that the allegation that Koji leveled that, okay, they are doing this because they want to do this, they want to do that? And we should look at it from another point too. Listen, in as much we will say we should not do things that will undermine the peace of this country, CDC themselves did it. They seem Koji today that is in power, along with the other guys. These are some of the means they use to make the Liberian people to understand. They too, they have protests in this country. So when other people are trying to do it, it should not be a problem.
So no. I agree. You know, I think on this one, we will talk a little bit and then we'll get the intervention of the public too. I know some people want to call to throw in on some of these things. What I'm only saying, protest is guaranteed. Like for me, I have stated clearly yesterday. The CDC should not be thinking that they are in opposition. No, you are now the government. Try to engage these people. This thing is not time to be combating. It's about time you engage. Now that you got the intelligence, and I want to applaud the CDC for getting this intelligence. As a government, you must be on top of information. You got the information. What are you doing now? Are you going to sit down and allow people to prepare to go to protest? Well, it's up to you. But this is what I can say before you go on the land, Sekou. This will have serious division among Liberians. For me, I stand on the side of the law. It is guaranteed under our Constitution, Article 1, Article 17. The people have the right to demand certain changes in government. Is their right. We all exercise that right. Of course, there are repercussions if you do something different. The very Louis Brown threatened civil liberty. When people asked him a few years ago, they wanted to protest, he said, when you get on the street, we'll use gun on you. We'll use lethal and non-lethal force. Today, he's the same person telling us he will go on the street and to go and lead a protest. You see, he's on the other side. He's defying, a government. But what I want to call on the ANC, I'm saying the ANC is no longer CPP. It's just a matter of the collaboration because Liberty Party is not putting any standard bearer there. It is Alexander Kumi, Mr. Alexander Kumis. Mr. Kumi is a fine species. But if you allow these old folks to besiege that political party, they will bury him face down 2023 election, he might regret. These guys, the moment they see good life in a political institution, they will wrap their bundles and go there. Louis Brown was in the hierarchy of the MPP-led government. If I'm not making a mistake, he was the first man that was dismissed by Charles Taylor for stealing from LPRC and building a Ginjante horse. My understanding is that Charles Taylor was driving. It's about who has the fine, beautiful horse. It's about like one of your boys. Before he could go to China, Louis Brown was fired. It took him a long time. When Ellen became president, he joined the NDC, the National Democratic Coalition. He used the platform to describe President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as someone who desecrated the sanctity of the presidency. The president absorbing into government. He spent good time before being sent to the US. Now he's no longer in power. He looks between, almost like what Gekrakpoto says, wherever you see the sun shining, you go there. This sun that is shining, the money. These old folks only go to mislead people.
So what would be the result? What would be the...
I see former student leader the Martin Kula standing. You see a stranger going into a political party to hijack. He has become almost like a spokesperson.
Like the way I asked the question today, I said it's an allegation that they had 3 Hebrew brothers, and you guys are about to take over the party. Here you go, yeah.
I don't understand.
Anyway, political time is coming.
You know, so it means this is just an affront. Look, the founders of the ANC, they are nowhere around. The party has been hijacked. Mr. Kumi think that these guys get intellectual power, they can speak. There is a message and there is a messenger. I subscribe to the tenets of democratic values and principle. The protest is good, is guaranteed, but the
he said it is not protest. He said it is a rally. Let's get it
a rally, yes. A rally is a constitutional right. They can have their rally, but the one leading the rally, who is he going to go from here?
On this note, no matter the ANC people agree or Mr. Brown agree, not agree, the information was leaked. Even though it is true they wrote letters. No, they wrote letter because they read one letter. He said they wrote other letter to just the ministry. I don't have. I didn't see it.
The minister letter?
No, I didn't see it. To be honest,
only the Minister of Youth and Sport.
The Minister of Youth and Sport, he read it, so I can confirm that because he read it and he talked about the receipt. But the Justice Ministry, when I asked, he did not give me the date. In fact,
but so Youth and Sport finished collecting the matu.
Or Youth and Sport took yesterday. They say they go collect the people mouth.
You gotta if they get that money back.
I just got a release. Let me see. I saw the release. Let me read this. They will go to the last. I mean, they continue that back control.
I read it. Anyway, but for the sake of the public, you want to get money back.
The collaborating political party said for immediate release. They said the collaborating political party has received with dismay the decision of the CDC-led government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, rescinding the ministry's earlier approval for the CPP to use the SKD Sports Complex facility for its political rally. On November 16, 2022, the CPP wrote Minister D. Zoga Wezin requesting the use of the SKD facility on November 23rd, blah, 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 blah. So the people in Finnish say they ain't doing it again. I asked the same question today, but then let me go to the lines here, 0770-907-907, 0880-907. So that we, the journalists, then too. Hello?
Segu.
Good evening.
Good evening again. I'm Lawrence Spencer in Johnsonville.
Please, I beg you, 30 seconds, no time, yeah?
Yeah. Segu, let me disagree with Vandera when he said CDC got intelligent. I don't know whether Vandera followed the press conference today. Intelligence can only be information that is not in the public till somebody bring it out. How can you read the Minister of Youth and Sport that coaching work for the government and you say that it's something that going to Youth and Sport could not be aware of? So it was not classified information, but I agree with Seku that they tell me to do that press conference, like I said yesterday on the show. Probably maybe it was just because of the interest of the public, but it was wrong. I agree with Seku on that note.
So on that note, that it makes the people look like that you break it.
No, Seku on the
so how can it not be intelligent?
Party, and we agree on this point. That the time today, yesterday, I also tried to raise it. You said was saying no, but now in by like an kick. I said yesterday, I said maybe it was because of people like you and Vandera then sick, but I think the timing was very wrong.
Okay, thank you. The timing was very wrong by the ANC, Louis Brown. Hello.
Good evening to you again, Mr. Sherry. Good evening to Mr. Patrick. Well, my name is Bigger Jr. and I join you from Banana Giants Market.
Go ahead,
thank you. I hold Mr. Patrick in high esteem. For the few days I've been listening to you people, really. You have been balanced. But to come and classify Mr. Kumi as a decent man, I would disagree with him. Respectfully disagree with him. Because a decent man, the thing what Mr. Kumi did in a collaborative political party in CPP, a decent man can never behave like that. They may look at the Liberia Party have confusion after the political leader of the Liberia Party sent this a letter to not use the word of the Liberia Party. They may force it and when he used it.
Okay, thank you. Let me take another person. We can take all your calls. We need to wrap up. The news people, please come that you are waiting for. Hello.
Hello, Sebu. How are you doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Peter Gulo. I'm calling from Jalatan this evening. Sekou, I want to disagree with my big brother from Dala Patrick. They protest will not diminish the strength of ANC or Alexander Kumi. Sekou, we are in town here. CDC po kake or here. The poor women on a crew here. CDC protest all around the city here. Why when people talk about protest, people say that non-protest bad, Sekou?
Thank you. Let's take the last person. The news is up next. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, this is JT Kofa calling from Broadway, Sekou.
Okay, go ahead. Quick, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah. I disagree with Vanilla Party, the particular session. And also, Sekou, also having problem with you. You are not man. The government will be power forever. I hope you know what you're doing. Thank you.
Okay. Fendela, let's wrap up, my brother.
Yeah, so Sekou, is good. We give the Liberian people the opportunity to air their views, and it's important. Whatever we say here is meant to promote peaceful coexistence, to sometimes put our leaders into check, like we did today. We'll continue to do that. Our expression here is not a representation of hatred, but we just speak truth to power. And so I want to say thank you for those of you who follow us today, and we hope to join you again tomorrow. Thank you, Sekou, and have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much. We're going to be back here tomorrow, inshallah. And that's all the time. My name is Sekou Sharif. Up next is the news.